Hello. This time we will take a look at chart.js that will help us visualize our answers and compare our users' answers to the average of all the users. So let's get started. This is a chart.js. It's a module that we can require and add to our project. If you click on the documentation, you can take a look at the options that this module offers. So you can display bar chart, radar chart, and other charts. We will use this one. So if you remember, we compare practically our answers with the average of all the users. Then you have many other options. So if you will be displaying some other data in other projects, this is definitely the module that you can use for. And how do we use it? So first of all, we have to add it to our modules. So we require it as all the other modules in the project. So we create a variable chart and require chart.js. The next thing what we have to do, we have to update the function see_results. So if you remember, when we answer all the questions, we have this area here, and when we click, we want to display our chart. But in order to do that, we have to first update our see_results function. The first step is we create a new HTML element called canvas. If you remember, we talked about different elements like div or h1 or paragraph and so on, and canvas is one of the elements and it enables us to draw on it. So on this canvas we will draw our chart. So we create this element, it's going to be an empty one, and later when we get the data we can populate it with this image chart, that one. Okay, so the next step is to add an event listener. So when we click on the button here, we want to trigger the function create chart, and we want to pass two params, the canvas element and the data. This is the result of answers from our user. And the last thing, we also want to include this canvas into our HTML. So let's add it here. So practically what we add here is this thing, canvas class my chart, and closing canvas. This is what comes here, but we first have to create an empty one so that when we click, we actually send the data and populate this with my chart. So we have to first create the chart and then display it. So let's see how this function looks like. Create chart. This function is pretty huge and we got it here. So if you look at this radar chart, you can see the example. You have to create data, set the labels. So what will be those things here? Eating, drinking, sleeping, designing. We will call this statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and so on. And then we have some colors, titles, and we won't change this, we will just leave it as it is. So we will took a default version. So let's do that first. we create a data. Okay, maybe we should actually explain first everything and then we just copy in the whole package, because otherwise we can mess something up, because everything is packed inside of this create chart function. So this is this data part. And the second thing is then you create a chart and you use this data. So type is radar, data is data. So this thing. And then we have some options that we can set, and that basically creates a chart. So this is this part. This is the variable data, and this is creating a chart. And the first part is actually a function, mini XHR, that goes to our Firebase and takes all the results and transforms them and gets them ready for displaying in the chart. So let's copy the whole thing, paste it in our require bin as a last function, the last missing puzzle. And let's see, we have to add the right link from the database. This was the test before. So we again run the mini XHR, we get the data, we parse it, and then we use a certain mathematic on it so that we prepare it for the displaying, and the details about how we do that we will do in the next lesson. But for now, this is enough. We practically, as we said, we require chart.js, we prepare an empty canvas tag, then we add the event listener that creates the chart, and this is this function, and then we also display this chart inside of our HTML. So this is the function, and we said the first thing is API call to the Firebase. When we get the data, we do some magic with it, prepare it, and then we display it and create a new chart. So let's see if the code runs. There is some problem. Let's see. Unexpected token in the line 195. Let's see what we messed up here. So class on click, there is one curly braces missing. Let's see. That's right. Okay. So we didn't copy well. There were two closing curly braces. Okay. So let's see now. We answer. This gets sent to our database, and with this click we should be able to retrieve it and display the chart. Yay, it worked. So practically we now have to again enable, if you remember this thing, so that it helps us display the whole. We don't have it here, so let's, okay, we won't display it now, but in the next lesson I will show you. But the point is that we can see our results, our answers. Maybe we can try this again. We will answer everything with 1 and 2. And now we can see our answers were all 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, but the average answers are those. So perfect. This is how we display the charts. We use Chart.js, and in the next lesson I will explain you more in detail how and with which tricks we prepare the data for displaying. See you in the next lesson.